Well, the Steelers failed their test today. They absolutely, positively failed. The truth is yes, they failed the test. They were disappointing. It was super sad to watch whatever that was. First half, I don't know who that team was. The second half, I'm like, oh, okay, this looks good. But overall, they failed. They didn't fail just because they lost. They failed because there were some things that they did where I was just like, who is this team? What is going on with this team? And so I don't even know. Again, this is game 4. So after game 4, I don't know who we are. So just like I've said in my Colorado video, I didn't say that in my Texas video because I pretty much know who that team is. I'm going to say it in my Steelers video. I don't know who the Steelers team is. I don't know what to believe right now. I think the Colts might have been better than their record. I think that the Colts played really well, but the Colts were playing Joe Flacco, and the Steelers couldn't beat a Joe Flacco-led team in the second half. And so that's disappointing. So all around, the Steelers just failed. They just failed the test. And you know what? I feel like they failed with like a 68. They didn't fail with like a 50, but they definitely failed with a 68, and it was just not good. So let me get to the other side of this so I can rant like I really want to rant. The truth is, some things went right, some things went wrong. To be honest, in a weird way, more things kind of went right than went wrong, and we still lost the game. And that is why I always tell people, don't always look at stats. If you didn't watch the Steelers game and you just looked at stats, you would think the Steelers won this game. I'm going to post the stats here just so you can see them. And this is my whole point with stats. They always just tell one part of the story. These stats are not telling you what actually happened in this game and what it looked like and the reasons why we lost and the reasons why we looked bad. But they're stats, and people will make all these assumptions based on stats. We're this, we're that. The truth is, stats are a little piece of the pie, and which is fine. I just get so concerned that we always focus on stats and act like it tells the whole story. It doesn't. What tells the whole story is your eyes. What you see in your eyes is telling the whole story. And today, my Steelers failed. They were a disappointment, and it was just really sad. I'm going to get into the things I love, and I'm also at the end of the things that I love, I'm going to have something cute to share because I was right. But some of the things that I love Justin Fields. I know he had that fumble. I totally understand. But overall, Justin Fields looked great. Justin Fields was not the reason why we lost this game. He looked good. Did he make mistakes? Absolutely. But Justin Fields showed up. He did what he was supposed to do. I think he should be QB1. And I have no complaints about Justin Fields. So kudos to Justin Fields for doing what you're supposed to do and stepping up and coming back from that mistake and still leading us down the field. Kudos to you. Also, Chris Boswell. Shout out to Boz. Boz is the most consistent player we have on this team right now. And I'm just going to leave it at that. It just kind of is what it is. The other thing I want to say, and I'm going to take credit for, is something that I loved because I called this about the Steelers. I said historically what the Steelers usually do. I wanted to be wrong. I said it about the holding. I said it about all of these things. And as I've been correct on almost every single video that I've made this year, my prediction on who's going to win might not be right. But the things that I'm looking for in the game so far this season for the Steelers, for Texas, hook 'em, and for Colorado. And now it shows up again for my Steelers. And so I'm just going to roll myself being right and putting some caution up here before the game. Let's just pray to whoever you pray to that they do not allow the Colts to hold our defensive line the whole game. That would be fantastic. So I'm picking the Steelers to win this game. I'm picking the Steelers to go 4-0 this game. I do want to be on record and say, historically, these are the games the Steelers lose. The games that the Steelers are supposed to win, the games that it looks like they have everything figured out, the game where it looks like they're going into this and everything's clicking and everything's firing, this is historically the type of games the Steelers have lost. So there you have it. These are the games we usually lose. And guess what? We lost. So no surprise there. The last thing I want to say, though, is I do want to applaud the Steelers' attempted comeback in the second half. I think it was gross that we were in that position, but it kind of was what it was. So I just want to applaud that because I liked the fourth quarter Steelers. I liked the third quarter Steelers. I felt like defensively they were still giving up plays, but they looked better. I don't know who that first half Steelers were. So leading into that, let me just go ahead and get into the things that I hated. The things that I hated, that offensive line is terrible. Our offensive line is so bad, and I'm going to be so concerned about it as we move forward, and I'll rant about it later on in this video, but I just wanted to call out here that offensive line is not great, and I have concerns. We got dominated yesterday in the first half on the offensive line and the defensive line, and that is terrible. It was almost like we forgot that we were going to play in a game on Sunday. Like, today is Sunday. Get ready to play. This is your game day. Why did we come out looking like we forgot we had a game? That was embarrassing. That was just embarrassing. The offensive play calling, I feel like, is limiting Fields. This was Arthur Smith's worst game. And as I've seen Arthur Smith now call game 1, game 2, game 3, and game 4, I don't know who Arthur Smith is right now. And that is concerning. I don't know what our identity is on offense. It feels like he doesn't trust Justin Fields, or maybe he doesn't trust his play calling. Maybe he doesn't know what he's doing. I don't know. But this game, his play calling was not great, and I think it impacted our offense. It just wasn't good. The other thing is you can't come out if you're the Steelers and have a good defense and give up 2 touchdowns on the first 2 drives of the game. That is not what you're supposed to do, because when you do that, what ends up happening is you're supposed to be the strength of our team. And whenever you give up 2 touchdowns right away, it's almost like our team doesn't know how to respond to that. And maybe that's something we need to work on. It just didn't look good. I hated to see that. I hated to see that happen. And then guess what? We give up, 14 points, and then guess what happens? We go 3 and out. It's like back to the old Steelers. Here we go with this crap. So I don't know. I hated seeing the defense do that. I hated seeing those 2 drives happen. Yes, they came back in the second half. Yes, they showed up, but watching that just was gross. I didn't like to see it. It wasn't great. The other thing I'll say is the bad snaps. You know what? I have now seen bad snaps happen in 7 games, 3 preseason games, and now 4 regular season games. We have a snapping problem. I don't know how you fix a snapping problem. I don't know if our offensive line coach is terrible. I don't know what is going on. All I know is that we have a snapping problem, and it has showed up in every single time that the Pittsburgh Steelers have taken the field in 2024, including the preseason. Bad snapping has shown up. So we have a problem. We have to fix the problem. Houston, we have a problem. We have to fix it. We have to fix the problem ASAP. The last thing I want to say here, and I hate when teams in a loss come on and bash the refs. The refs are terrible. The refs have been terrible from the first game of the season. I have videos, and I'm on record of saying how bad this officiating has been when it comes to the Steelers, and this game proved no different. So let me give you a specific sequence that happened. It was 1st and 10. On 1st and 10, Joe Flacco goes back there, throws a ball. It's intentional grounding. Nobody is there. He was about to get sacked. He just got rid of the football. Did they throw an intentional grounding flag? Absolutely not. They did not throw a flag. Cool. Okay, whatever. 2nd down, 2nd and 10. Cameron Hayward comes up and sacks Joe Flacco, right? Has him wrapped up. He can't move. Play should have been whistled dead. Was the play whistled dead? No. Instead, Joe Flacco gets to throw the ball away. And so here we are. Now it's 3rd and 10. So technically it should be 3rd and about 22 at this point. But it's not, because they never moved the ball back. They kept giving Joe Flacco chances and chances. And these are the things that piss me off about the NFL. Then what happens? 3rd and 10 on the next play, Minka gets flagged for the random targeting call, which was not a targeting call, which everybody knows wasn't a targeting call. And because that happens, then they get a 1st down. And you want to know what happened on the very next play? I don't know if it was the very next play, but in the same drive, I'm going to post a screenshot right here. This is TJ Watt getting held as Joe Flacco throws a touchdown. I don't know what football you watch. I don't know what you do, but you can look at this picture and clearly tell that TJ Watt was getting held. And you know what? Because I'm feeling nice and friendly, I'll post another picture of TJ Watt getting held. Do you know how many holding calls TJ Watt got in this game? 0. TJ Watt is getting held on almost, I don't want to say almost, I don't want to say every, because that's dramatic. TJ Watt is getting held. And for some reason, he cannot buy a holding call. Nobody wants to call holding on TJ Watt, and that is disgusting. The other thing about this terrible officiating that I'm going to post the picture because I took this screenshot as well. These officials that officiated this game have been bad since the season has started. So here we are, week 4. We have an officiating crew that has already thrown more flags, and it's not even close, than any other officiating crew. But they get to the Steelers game, and all of a sudden they can't throw a flag. It's like this crazy stuff that's happening, and I just don't understand it. And these are the things about the NFL that pisses me off. I know it's a billion-dollar industry. I know they have to protect their assets. I know in their mind they think If teams lose and go down and have these bad records, it's not good. And I get it from a business aspect, but it doesn't mean it's not disgusting. Just because I understand business doesn't mean I can't be disgusted. That's like me saying, I understand politics and I get all the manipulation and the maneuvering. That doesn't mean that I don't think it's disgusting. The other thing I'll say, and I'll get off this hate section, is shame on the NFL for their officiating practices. The NFL officials, at this point, why don't they have press conferences? Why don't these officials have press conferences? Why doesn't the NFL come out and have press conferences to defend their officiators? Officiators, they're referees. Where is the accountability in the NFL for these bad calls? I know for a fact these referees are wearing earbuds. I know for a fact somebody could have whistled down or somebody could have let those officials know, hey, that was intentional grounding. They could have told them that. They also could have told them that should have been a sack. They also should have told them to pick up that flag on third down, but they didn't because it's intentional, because they don't care. And it's frustrating. And as a fan of this sport, it's extremely frustrating to watch this officiating be so bad week after week after week after week. I know the NFL doesn't care. I know that they are saying more people are watching this product than ever before, but just because people are watching doesn't mean what they're doing is right. It's disgusting. And I wish the NFL would do something about this terrible officiating, because it's not only happening with the Steelers, it's happening in these other games that I've watched. And why I'm here, college football officiating isn't that great either. So who is going to hold these officials accountable? The system is screwy. The system is screwed up. The system is flawed. Who is going to fix this system for them? So now that I've ranted about that, I just want to throw in one thing here about the random. The whole kickoff thing, the kickoff thing is dead. It's terrible. It's bad. It's awful. I don't even know why they started. It's just a bad system. It's terrible. I wish they could go back to the old system. They can't. I don't know what the plan was with this system, but I don't like it. I think it's terrible. The other thing that was random that I didn't love was Mike Tomlin going for it on fourth down. That was the first time in a while I've seen Mike Tomlin almost not trusting our defense to get back on the field and get a stop because they were playing bad. And so I'll just leave it here as a random. I don't know if I'm going to keep my eye out on it because it was very rare that he did that. But listen, it is what it is. We lost the game. It just is what it is. So having said all that, the Steelers are looking very incomplete right now. And that's just how I feel. I feel like the Colorado Buffaloes, I don't know what they're going to do. They look a little incomplete to me. Sometimes they're great. Sometimes they're not. I don't know what that is. I feel that with the Steelers. The Steelers are also incomplete. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they have going on. I just don't know. I don't know what to think. And after I just watched that game, I'm even more confused. All I do know is that was confusing. It was disappointing. Like I said at the beginning of this, we failed this test. We need to do better. We have to do better. We have to get better. And thank goodness I have my rant session at the end of this, because there's a couple things I need to let off my chest. But I'm going to end this part of the video here. I'm going to say, here we go. And then I'm going to get into my rant section, because that is my safe space and where I can say whatever I want to say.
So the things I'm going to keep an eye out on: Justin Fields. Let Justin Fields play quarterback, Arthur Smith. Do better with your play calling. I hate this play call. I hate the play calling in the fourth game. So for game one, I was like, okay, I understand he's coming along. Game two, I was like, okay, I see what we're doing. We're opening it up a little bit more. Game three, we opened it up a little bit more. I feel like game four, we reverted almost back to like a game one, game two hybrid. I don't understand what is happening with this offensive play calling. It needs to be better. The other thing I'm going to keep an eye out on is this offensive line, because I think we lost somebody else for the rest of the year because his injury didn't look good. You can always kind of tell by how guys hobble off the field what the injury might be. I think it might be an extreme injury. I don't know for sure. But if it is, that's going to be the third starter that we've now lost on this offensive line. And like I said in the video, this offensive line hasn't looked good since preseason. We haven't looked good probably in a year or two. This offensive line is not good. And so we have to do something to shore up this offensive line. I don't care who you have to go get, Mike Tomlin. I don't care what you do to fix this offensive line. You have to fix this offensive line. It is terrible. It has to be fixed ASAP. Do whatever you need to do to go fix this offensive line. I don't care what it takes. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Go fix it. It looks terrible. The Steelers scored 24 points. And I am proud of them for scoring 24 points. And the bar for me is so low with the Steelers scoring points. And I'm like, woo, we scored 24 points. I know, it's pretty pathetic. But I have to get excited about the things that I have to get excited about. You know why? Because we lost. Because we are losers this week. We lost the game. It's so bad. It is just so bad. But whatever. Let me just